Welcome back to Chaos Theory. I'm Aurian Archive, and as you can see, I've swapped characters. I am now on the Seismic Blast Nature Affinity Corruptor. A character that I've come to like more and more. Uh, we got a Paladin up. And I think I'm on the right side of the city. This should be... Oh, we have already started the fight. Okay, which one is he targeting first? Got the reward merits. Oh, that's interesting. Alright, let's... Let's turn this down so I can hear myself think. Okay, first thing that I was noticing there is this is Pendulum 9,000 miles, I think. So the first thing that cropped my mind is I was trying to whistle along with it because this is the kind of track that you just gotta shake your butt to. And then I noticed that the microphone wasn't triggering on whistling. Higher notes weren't setting the higher notes aren't setting the microphone off. So okay, there's probably a high pass filter of some kind. So that was kind of just I just noticed that, and the microphone was not tracking the whistling. But okay, to be fair, maybe that's not a bad thing since I'm not the world's greatest whistler to begin with. Alright, just what we're doing right now is we're kind of running around the zones looking to see if the paladin is going to start building. The clocks are going to start building another one. And nothing in these power lines. Nothing in this power lines. Okay, so doesn't look like we got anything. Alright. Where am I at on this character anyways? Okay, I did 7 days hero. I just turned Vigilante for the 7 days Vigilante. Where am I at on history? Learn the history. I really apparently haven't done much. Visited all the Briggs tent. Weird. Okay, let's check our accolades real quick. I got every within Echo Fault Line, so Echo Fault Line, Memory Lane, Atlas, Galactic, Kings Row, Steel Canyon, Skyway, Fault Line, Echo, IP address, Brickstown, Cimarrera. Okay, so it looks like I left off on Brickstown. So I think that means I come down here. Wincotts Hollows, Perez, Boomtown, Echo Dark Astoria, Craze Folly, Echo Ricky Crash Site, Abandoned Sewer Network, Terra Volta. So I don't see the Hive, Talos, Founders Falls. Alright, so we'll head for... Did I get Croatoa? I don't think I saw Croatoa. So we'll take the train to Croatoa first. I think they will take the... We'll go to Callisti Fall and get on Giant Shoulders. Okay. Why work on this character instead of going back to the Psionic Stone? Well, honestly, because the Psionic Stone is a character made under protest. They have a... Once the name was in play and the character concept clicked, it was sort of like, well, I can't not make it. I do need to give some feedback on it's. Do I think the feedback will change anything? No. Some of the decisions, a centralized problem at hand is that the live developers, be it Cryptic or Paragon, neither one of them ever really outlined, detailed, described, you name it. They didn't really do anything to define the blaster secondary sets. Thus, the blaster secondary sets are a hodgepodge of powers that were, well, they weren't ever designed to work together. They weren't ever designed to be cohesive. They weren't ever, from day one, the blaster secondaries were just make it up as they went along. Most of the other sets have some kind of design guideline, some kind of point and purpose, some at least a style guideline, or at least an idea of what each set should contain, or a framework on what each set could build. And this was actually a pretty significant thing under Paragon's watch, and that Paragon tried to simplify and more readily define the relationship of powers. I can't remember if I've gotten... Doesn't look like it, but okay, no, I haven't. I have not gotten these patches. So we will continue with the Dark Astoria. Right, with the Incarnate Dark Astoria badges. And I don't think there's any Plex here now. Those are all in Echo Dark Astoria, which I've already been to. So anyways, Paragon actually was taking some steps and efforts to realign how sets were being built and define clear trade-offs. This set would be good at this, but because it was good at this, it would give up on this. And that's how we got Titan weapons, also known as Willinger's clear abuse of power. Running joke. Titan weapons was pretty much broken from the start. But it was broken because it had the momentum mechanic, and I've gone into this in previous live streams. If you're going to rebalance Titan weapons to actually balance it, the first item on the table to get rid of is momentum mechanic. It's why the set is out of balance to begin with, so to get it in balance, get rid of the reason it's out of balance. Get rid of momentum. Obviously, that has not happened with any changes to date, but, well, everything is in flux, everything can change. So, kind of keeping that in mind, that Paragon didn't do the greatest job of defining how power sets should work. And on one hand, there's something to be said for the differentiated power sets. Is if you want a power set to be unique, you don't want it to just follow the formula previous power sets put down. But that's also where you start really want to looking from a design perspective at, well, what would make sense for this power set to work together. And I have a whole extensive treatise on this subject when designing the travel IOs. And unfortunately for the developer who was given that information of this is a terrible choice on the teleports, they went ahead and, well, put the set that they were told not to in. And all I could say on those patch notes was, is this a sick joke? Is this your idea of a joke? Because it's not funny. I'm not laughing. You didn't pay attention. Please pay attention when the designer tells you how to do something. Pay attention to the designer. They probably know what they're doing and can prove it multiple times. Okay, so kind of keeping that in mind. If I was making a blaster secondary set, let's say that I was making Earth manipulation. Well, first thing is, I wouldn't have put in a sleep. I wouldn't. Other things I wouldn't have done. Stun's actually probably a pretty good idea. It fits with the stone theme. You hit somebody with a hammer hard enough, you are going to stun them. Well, if you're going to have a stun mechanic, have a ramp to stun mechanic. Is one of the things that I really love about Seismic Blast is it has this build mechanic that as you attack, you build up seismic pressure, and then you can either use that seismic pressure to deal out a massive amount of AoE damage at a longer range with rock shards. You can use it with stalagmite to add more damage to the power, which actually, in fairness, does take a rather lackluster T8 primary blaster power with a stun and make it not as sucky. It just doesn't make it not sucky enough to consider including in a build, because the other thing seismic pressure also does is it gives your build up a global cooldown effect, which is between those two powers, between rock shards and seismic force. From a design, you just don't have a reason to ever use these stalagmite extra damage. I mean, it's a cool idea, but it's one where you get to just not even worried about stalagmite. Now, it would have been one thing if you'd done the cancel out seismic pressure and used that on stalagmite, and it turns into a, say something like carrion creepers, which follow plants around. If you hit stalagmites, and now you hit it with seismic force, and now stalagmites are added to every other one of your attacks, dealing damage over time to every other attack that you make, or every other power that affects an enemy. Say like a Fiery Embrace, which adds a fire damage pet. If you had a stalagmite damage pet that was now affected on any other earth powers at all, you now go from stalagmite being the it's fine with the seismic build-up, but it's lackluster otherwise, into the must have that power. And that's kind of the thing with that I don't think I really like about the blaster earth manipulation. There's no ramp effect, there's no build-up, there's no charge effect, and that's one of the things that really helps Seismic Blast stand apart. And as a corruptor, once things start taking damage, once I get into Scourge, I can deal silly amounts of damage with those effects, especially with when I can just knock 5 or 6 seconds off of my nuke. So it's timing my seismic force and my nuke, knock a few seconds off there, and just drop a rock on everyone. Rocks fall, everyone dies. So yeah, I really like Seismic Blast, and I really don't understand why why Earth manipulation didn't do something along those lines. Because something along the build a stun, build seismic pressure would have done a lot to maybe make Fracture worth looking at, rather than it's probably going to be best off skipping Fracture, and we'll look at this. I mean, the stun to disorient, awesome concept, just not how it was implemented, and I'm pretty sure the reason why it's so terrible is due to the blaster formulas, which weren't ever adhered to begin with. There are no standard blaster formulas, so have at it. I'd get something to drink. I can just feel my throat going dry. Alright, there's Island Hopper. On to Founders Falls. Oh, if I had pulled that off, I was going to be so happy. Instead, I'm just sad. Minorly depressed. Somber, even. Why didn't I notice? This is where the clipping came from, because I used her costume as a recolor. The clipping never bothered me on this one. Now, there's a badge around here somewhere. Where are you, badge? Hang on. Okay, I'm going to be just a minute.